Good morning. We have another Monday, but today is Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying maybe a little extra time this weekend, maybe a little extra time with friends or family, maybe a little bit of extra time to create, to make jewelry maybe. I hope so. Good morning, Eric. Hi. So I hope everybody's having a great extended weekend. And I know that these are the kinds of weekends that maybe are a little bit melancholy because this is kind of the unofficial end of summer. But I'm still feeling summer. I'm still wearing white. I think the rule is you can't wear white after Labor Day, so I'm still wearing white today. Hello, everybody. I see people joining. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Monday. Tanya is here. Anteater Diane. Bobby Henderson. Hello. Anteater Diane. I see you. I see you. Kim Caldwell. Hi, guys. So it is Monday, September 1st, so welcome to September, and happy Labor Day. I've said that already, but folks are still jumping on, so I want to say happy Labor Day to everyone. Sue from Wisconsin is here. Oh, hi, Michelle. I see you squeaked in there. Gina is here from Iowa. Linda Emery, hello. Tanya says she's off every day. Tanya, love ya. Kat is here. Hi, Kat. Tori is here. Hello. Oh my gosh, you guys. Hello. Thanks for being here. Ruby Tatum is here from Louisiana. Tilly is here. Nancy from Michigan is here. Oh my gosh, you guys. Thanks for coming and joining us today. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm adjusting my camera here. Paulette is here. Carol is here from South Jersey. Wow, so we've got people from all over the place this morning. I'm so glad you guys join us. So if you've not joined us before, or you're jumping on and seeing this and going, what is this? Who is this? My name is Deb Floros. This is my show here at artbeads.com called Designing with Deb. And what do we do here at artbeads.com? We talk about beads, we look at beads, we shop for beads, and we make stuff, and we chit chat, and we hang out with each other here. This is a wonderful community. I love the Art Beads crowd. They are serious art beaters. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, I can't see your comments live. We would love for you to come over and join us here at artbeads.com/live. Yes, Eric, we dream about beads. Everything is about beads, right? It's all about the beads. And Tilly says she looks at beads every day. Absolutely. Ruth, hi Ruth. Santa Barbara girl, hello. So if you want to come over and be interactive with us, just go up to your browser and enter artbeads.com. Use that little / symbol and the word live. Or you can go to artbeads.com and look for the red live icon. You can just click on that. And frankly, if you just go to the Art Beads website, the show should pop up for you. And you can join us here and hang out. I mean, you know, it's a great way to spend Monday morning. We love to hang out here and chit chat about beads. I'm so glad you're all here. Oh, LJ Hill has joined us. Thank you for being here. So got a few things to run down before we start our project today. It is Labor Day, and Art Beads is known for their Labor Day sale. It's a doozy. It's a really good one. It is the huge and famous Labor Day sale, which means everything is up to 70% off. Oh my gosh. So I always check it out for you. I always kind of make some notes of what I see. I saw stretch cord, chain, some of the designer seed bead blends, and these tools that I've been working with, these nylon jaw tools on sale. These are only $80. You get this whole set of them. They come in a case. They are made by Beadalon. They have those nylon jaws. these are on sale. I really didn't know that when I put them in the show, but I wanted to let you know that because they are in the show today if you're interested in picking those up on sale. So that sale is on and active, so don't miss out on those deals, you guys. It's a doozy of a sale. I know folks look forward to that sale every year. So up to 70% off, and you get double rewards points. So if you are a rewards points person, you will get double points for your purchase. If you are not in the rewards program, if you go to the website, there is a banner across the page that talks about the sale. It says, up to 70% off. If you click on the banner, it will bring you to the sale page, and there's some links in the text that will take you to how to sign up. And I think you get like a certain number of points if you sign up. So you automatically get points right from the get-go. And then if you make a purchase right now, you get double rewards. So that's pretty cool. Just a couple more things before we start, guys. If you are watching at artbeads.com/live, as I mentioned, I can see your comments, and that's an interactive place for you guys to hang out with each other, ask questions of us. Eric and Michelle are here. They're my sidekicks, and they are so helpful throughout the course of the show because I don't always see all of the comments. Sorry. It's just, I struggle. I try. But you can also shop the show. So you can click on that little shopping bag on the screen, and I've loaded everything I'm working with today and more into that shopping bag. So all you need to do is load that into your shopping cart. So there are all kinds of fun things there, and you don't have to leave the show. I just get smaller on the screen. You can still see me and hear me, and you can start to drop some things into your shopping cart. And I think probably a lot of those things are on sale. So you can make sure that you get those things and get checked out and enjoy these things when they get to you, which they should get to you fairly quickly. So if you also want to share the show, there's a little bit of an arrow icon. If you have a group that you often participate in, or you have a beading bestie that you want to send this show to, you can most certainly do that. And you can share the love by clicking on the hearts. I saw a few of them pop through earlier. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate you guys. So let me just quickly say hello to a few more folks. Oh, there's some hearts. Thank you guys. I see Debbie K is here. LJ Hill Sale. Yes, Mary is here from Colorado. Monique Daly is here. Texas Tracy's here. Shirley from New Hampshire is here. Peggy from Virginia. Joan from Phoenix. Hello. Tina is here. So glad you guys are here. Susan J from Seattle. And Ruby Tatum says, our prestige crystals on the Labor Day sale. Ruby, I did not notice that, but I bet someone could tell you that. There's Hannah from Iceland and Kara. Ooh, okay. I'm going to flip the camera down to tell you one more thing that is happening. And you all may have seen this. So I did a show, not yesterday Sunday, but the Sunday before, where we introduced some new to Art Beads beads. These are the deal of the week right now, and these are called check glass cushion rounds. This shape is absolutely divine. And I took a bunch of sort of fall inspired colors, put them together, added a few fire polish beads, and made this really fun cornucopia necklace. This is a really fun and fabulous piece using these amazing cushion rounds. They're kind of like a coin, kind of like a round bead. They're just a really cool bead. And right now, the deal of the week is if you purchase 4 of these strands, you get 1 for free. That is amazing. And when you see these, the thing is, it's hard to pick the colors because the colors are so incredible. There are 52 different options. So, if you're going to pick some, you might as well get some free while you're at it. So these are absolutely spectacular beads. I've been so inspired working with them, and this necklace, not hard to make at all. It's beautiful because of the beads and because of the finishes of these beads and the colors of these beads. So this is a great deal right now. I don't have any of them in the show, but they are available on the website. So if you go to the, I think it's new and noteworthy section of the website, these are probably the first item there, and you can start picking those out. I think there might even be a feature for deal of the week. So super cool, incredible beads. This necklace was fun to make. If you go back, not yesterday, but to the prior Sunday, you can watch me make this if you want. Super beautiful colors, super beautiful beads. I love them. Today, my friends, we are going to talk about this. This is one of my most favorite projects to do. I hadn't done this in a while. I did this bracelet on a live with Becky Doll. I think it was in 2023. And I did a project that you can find on in the design part of the website, in the design studio. I could not come up with that word. Design studio. This particular bracelet is in the design studio. Maybe Michelle can link to this project. And so if you want to see a different version of what I'm doing today, that is available out there in the design studio. And that's also a fun place for you to poke around and get more ideas and more projects. So this is what I call a fidget bracelet. And I love to make this design. I have made it a couple of times, but I haven't done it for a while. And I haven't done it on my Designing with Deb show here. So I thought it was a perfect chance to bring this back out and show you this project. It is meant to be a 2-strand bracelet, and it's meant to have beads that go over other beads so that you can fidget with them. So I know I'm a fidgeter. If I'm wearing jewelry, I'm always kind of playing with it, and if I've got something in my hand while I'm watching TV, or I don't know, if, when I used to be in an office, I used to fiddle around with something while I was in a meeting. This is a fun thing. So you can slide the beads around on the other beads. And I always like to add a pretty little charm as part of an accent. So you can also fiddle with the charm. And I think at the time when I created this one, I was really feeling musically inspired. And so I added this little music charm. So in the show today, I've got a lot of seed beads, and I'm going to push you out of your comfort zone a little bit with the seed beads maybe. And I've got some different beads that will go over the seed beads. So I'll talk about that in a second. Wanted to show you this one. I think this is the one that I made on the live with Becky. These beads are not available. Unfortunately, these beads, these gorgeous faceted rondelles, were really fun to work with. I think these seed beads might be in the show. And then these little tag charms are also sold out. But this is just, another take. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. This is another take on the fidget bracelet. So the key to a fidget bracelet is using some seed beads and then also being able to find some beads that will go over them. So this one I love. I just made this one a couple weeks back preparing for the show. And I love the combination of pinks. If you guys watch me, you know I love pink. I love hearts. I added a little heart charm to this as well. So this is a fun one. So I just thought I'd show you some variations, and then I thought we would make one together. And because of how long it takes to string on the beads, I'm going to teach it in a couple of parts because I don't want anybody to fall asleep while I string on lots of seed beads. But we'll talk through the process, and I also want to show you some color combinations, bead combinations that you might want to put together for yourself. So just take a peek at these for a moment. I'm going to shift those over, and I'm going to grab my sample piece and show you kind of what we're going to do here. So I'm working on a treasure mat today. This mat is in the shopping bag. And I'm working on this mat and want to show you, if you are working on a project like this, one thing that you can do is take your beads and drop them into these little spots here so they don't mingle with others, and they won't kind of get in the way of your project. So I'm going to take my 2 beads I'm working with. I'll show you these in just a minute. And put them into these little spots on this treasure map. And there's 2 sizes of the treasure map, or treasure mat. I said that the last time. It's not a treasure map, it's a treasure mat. So I've got a couple sizes of them ready to go for you in the shopping bags. If you're interested in grabbing that, this is a great mat to do this project in. So this is the color combination I'm going to work with today. And I'm actually really crazy about this combination. So when I told you I was going to push you out of your comfort zone, I like working with size 15 beads a lot. Now, they are tiny. I know this. They can be hard to see. That is true. But they add such a dimensional impact to your stringing designs. They're also great for needle and thread projects. I use them a lot for spacers, but for this project particularly, you do need a small bead for the larger beads to be able to go over so you can do your fidgeting with them. So these are 15 O's, and most of the seed beads in the show today are 15 O's. So this color is absolutely spectacular. It's called Frosted Salmon Lined Crystal Rainbow. That's a mouthful, and it's this just really lovely color. I've got my piece started here, so I want to show you what this looks like up close. So look at those beautiful beads. These are really interesting looking. They have just a kind of an ethereal vibe to them. And I thought for a pure and complete contrast, we would go with a darker color and something that is opaque and something that has a cool finish. These are called Marbled Opaque Avocado Pink. Now, I don't know if I would call them pink at all, but there is a little bit of a pink to them, just a touch. So look at these, they're cubes. They have a little bit of a larger hole, which is key to this kind of a project. And these are just fun. So I thought this combination was kind of magic. And that's what I love about coming up with these bracelets, is finding that fun combination that will make for a really cool fidget bracelet. So I'm going to push this aside just 1 second and show you how to start this piece. So I've got several different kinds of wire in the show today. I'm going to be working with Soft Flex Medium. I know there's not a lot of stock left on this, but there are other kinds of wire. And I'll tell you that size 15 seed beads actually fit on 49 strand beading wire. Most of the seed beads, the 15-0 seed beads I've worked with will work on 49 strand. I like it on a 19 strand beading wire. So if you've got a Beadalon 19 strand, it will work. You can also work with 7 strand. So it's really a preference. I kind of like the middle of the road for this project. So medium here and 19 strand if you're working with another brand. So feel free to choose your wire that you would like to work with. Now, to make a double strand bracelet for myself, I have about a 6.5 wrist. The typical size of a wrist is about a 7.5. You're probably going to be working with about 18 inches of wire, and it's one single continuous strand of wire. So when I pull the wire off, I'm going to pull out 18 inches. To do the example of how to start this one, I'm not going to pull that much off, but that's what you would pull off to start your project or to do your project. So cut 18 inches or so from your package, and that should be enough for you to double up and create this bracelet. And hello to folks, if you're just joining, happy Labor Day. So I'm just going to show you, I'm going to set these beads aside for a minute, and I'm going to grab a different colorway and show you this just because it'll just give you some other ideas to work with. So what I do to start things is I'll pick up 17 of these little 15-0s. And I've got this beautiful purple color here. I'll grab the color in just a second. I'm going to be butterfingers because I did put lotion on right before the show, trying to make my hands look at least a little bit decent after the weekend. Let's see. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to pick them up with my beading wire and get them onto the beading wire. And I'm picking them right off the mat. So another cool thing about the treasure mat is it will prevent your beads from rolling. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, come on, little friends, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so I will string those beads on, and this color, by the way, is Permafinish Metallic Polaris, which is this amazing metallic-y purple. It is super cool. So to start your bracelet, you're going to start with making, let me grab my sample. You're going to start with making the loop that you'll connect your closure to. So we're going to use a lobster claw. We're going to make this loop first. So what I do here, and I'm going to set that down for a second, is I'm going to use a size 2 crimp tube, and I'm going to take my crimp tube and I'm going to put it onto both wires. So you're going to have your beads kind of hanging at the bottom, and remember, you'll have a larger piece to make your bracelet. And I'm going to get those 2 pieces of wire, hold them together, and I'm going to put my crimp tube onto both ends. So you're putting your 2 strands through, and then I'm going to take my crimp tube and I'm just going to pull it down to where the beads are. And we're just going to create that loop, a very pretty little loop of beads. So then I'm going to hold my wires apart because you always want to make sure that your wire does not crisscross in that crimp tube when you crimp. Now, being very, very careful because I am right up next to those seed beads. I'm going to put my crimp tube into the first channel of that of my crimping pliers. So get that in there, and then I'm going to go into the second channel. Sorry, I was a little off there trying to see it. And then I create my little crimp, and I know I'm not crisscrossed, I've got a nice solid loop here that will attach our lobster claw to. So crimping pliers will, a good pair of crimping pliers will help you get that nice crimp and that nice loop up there. So then, my friends, what you're going to want to do is string on those 15-0 seed beads. Now, again, I'm not going to do all of the stringing today because it does take a while to put all of the 15-0s onto your strands. So you are going to do 2 strands of 15-0 seed beads for this project. And you could use, I'll say this, you could use a larger seed bead if you have larger beads than what I'm working with today. So I'm working with a lot of 4mm cubes by Toho. And I'm also working with some 3-0 Tohos as well. Those are large hole beads, and they will go over 15 O's, but they do not comfortably go over an 11-0. So you can't really do the fidgeting with it. You can't slide the beads around, which is the objective of our piece. So 15 O's will work, but if you have beads that are larger hole beads, you could test out on 11 O's or even larger beads if if you have a large enough hole. So just, check it out. If you want to try and do larger beads, you most certainly can. So that's our loop to get started. Now, the next step, as I said, sorry about that, is to, let me pick these up. Let me get these out of our way, put those into a little tray. And by the way, if I was making one of the bracelets with these, I would match it with this one. These are gorgeous. These are a Toho cube, and this color is rainbow crystal rose lined. So look at the combination of these 2 beads. So that darker bead and the lighter bead together is a really cool color combination, really cool combination of a metallic and a bead with that lustery type finish. Really cool combination. So that's what I would do with that one. But let's take a look at this. So here's what I did so far. So I've got my loop here up top, my little loop of beads with my crimp tube. And then I've got my span of 1 strand, all seed beads. So as you can imagine, that takes some time, but this is the kind of thing, be patient, take your time, relax, put on some tunes, a little jazz maybe, and just kind of string those beads away onto your strand. And then you're going to want to put on a bead stopper. Bead stoppers are pretty important for this project, especially after you invest the time to add all of those tiny beads. Then you're going to do the same thing for your second strand. I started this one, so I'm now going to finish this one. And I'm just going to have to only do a few inches here. And I'll show you, I'll just show you that if you'll be patient with me while I finish stringing these up, you can just pick up your beads right from your mat and just string them on. And this is the kind of thing that I like to do sometimes while I'm watching watching a show on Netflix while I'm making jewelry. Sometimes I will just kind of zone out and make something like this because it doesn't take any patterning to worry about. Like, you can just string on the same bead. However, if you wanted to, there's variations here. So you could string on a pattern of different colors here. So you could do 2 different seed beads or 3 different seed beads. You could also think about 1 color of seed bead on one strand and maybe another color seed bead on another. You could get wild and crazy here and do all kinds of fun design things. And if you take advantage of the sale that is happening right now, you can try out all kinds of fun color combinations and fun finishes and textures and all of the cool beady goodness that's going on right now in that Labor Day sale. Everything is up to 70% off. So all you need to do is pick the things you like, pick those pretty colors. And when you are making this, if you have like another thought about like what charms you might want to add, you might want to think ahead of time about what kind of charm you want to use. I do like a charm, and I'll show you why when we get to finishing this piece. So maybe if you're making this for someone else, maybe you have another friend that is a fidgeter like you. Maybe you want to, customize this for them, and maybe pick a charm that might mean something to them. Maybe a letter charm, maybe an animal charm if they're an animal lover. There's just all kinds of charms that you can pick from. I put a few in the show today, and I've got a few options I can show you. So I am just about all strung up. So you see, I'm just kind of trying to get the same length of beads here on the other side. So, you can count them if you would like. You can measure if you would like. I always keep a ruler handy when I'm making these. I think that can be helpful if you want to make sure you get everything just right. And that looks like I might be just a bead short. So let me grab one more of these. Let me double check. And maybe one more bead short. And honestly, if it is not perfect, you're probably still okay. Like if it's not exactly the same number of seed beads, they are small. So it's probably just okay if it's not. So I'm gonna grab open up my bead stopper, and now I've got both strands all strung onto this beading wire. So you see, these are 15-0 seed beads. They are tiny, but they fit right onto this beading wire just right. And this is why I like to use them also for spacers, because they do fit onto beading wire. So we've got our two strands. I'm going to scoop these up that are right here. And so here's where we're going to start adding our cubes. Now, this is a matter of choice. So when I created this bracelet, I did use the 3-0 Toho seed beads. These are big honkin' seed beads. And I used the entire package of them because I wanted there to be lots of beads that I could fidget with. So you see me just moving the beads around. There's lots of movement that you can create here with all of these beads, right? You've got lots of length to work with. So all of those seed beads look so pretty, and you're just kind of able to move these around. If you wanted fewer of them, you could do that. If you want more of them, so this was a whole package of these pink ones. If you wanted more of them, you could pick up another package. You could do more. Maybe you want them, you don't want as much of the seed bead work to show, but these are going to move around when you wear it, and it's intended to move around because it gives you the opportunity to fidget with it when you wear it. So you have lots of options to style these, and lots of options to choose from for the colors, the finishes, all of that. So I've tried to give you lots of options in the shopping bag today. I'll show you some other color combinations, and you can also decide if you want to add the same number of beads to each each strand. I like to do that. So, but you can add different numbers of beads to each strand. We've got 2 strands to work with. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to remove my bead stopper and put it back onto one of the strands. So I'm going to be working with adding the beads to one strand first, and then I'm going to work with the second one. So I'm just going to string these on, and you'll see that these beads just slide right over our seed beads. So they're just going to slide right down onto your seed beads. Actually, that one is not sliding. So sometimes holes can be inconsistent with beads. So if it doesn't slide, you could set it aside and go to the next one. Sometimes they just, there's just a little bit of a inconsistency in the sizing. It kind of happens with a few beads, but that's okay. We will have plenty of them to work with. And that's something you will want to test out too. Again, if you're picking beads that, you're not sure about to put over your seed beads, just test it out ahead of time. What I did was I just grabbed my spool of wire and I just strung on a few seed beads, and then I put the beads over to make sure that they would work. So I'm running into quite a few here that are not going on all the way. There might even be a seed bead on here that's a little bit inconsistent and causing me an issue too. So I think I got all the seed beads there. So just keep going. Keep picking them. You'll get enough to go on to your piece. And look how pretty this looks. Look at this combination of beads. And these little cube beads are going to slide onto that piece and be super cool and interesting. And even if you're not a fidgeter, this is still a fun design, still a fun piece to create. So that one doesn't want to go past that one bead either. I think there is a seed bead down there that's giving me trouble, but there's plenty more where that came from. So look, oh my gosh, such a cool color combination. And I love the idea that one of these beads is super ethereal and has more of a soft vibe. And then you've got this bold color with some splash of something on the outside. Super fun. So I'm going to go with lesser beads on this design just to show you a variation of the design. So as I said, you can take this piece and you can add more beads, you can add less beads, but this is going to be super fun. These are going to be more sparse on this piece than the other examples I've got. So let me count what I had here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to put 11 on this one. So we're going to have a lot of our peachy salmon color showing up. So I strung those on. I put my stopper back on the first strand. Now I'm going to work with the second strand, and I'm going to do the same thing. Start putting on these cubes, and I want to put 11 of them on to match the other side. And this side is going smooth, except right there. So I do think there's a combination of some seed beads and some hole sizes of the larger beads that might give you a little trouble, but you will have beads to work with for other projects if you don't use them all. 5, 6, that one doesn't want to go. And let's find 7, 8, and you really can't tell by looking at them. 8, see, that doesn't want to go either. So we'll push that guy back up. And we'll grab this one, 8, 9, 10, and grab one more, 11. All right. So now I've got 11 beads on both sides, on each strand. So look at that color combination. Do you guys like this color combination? I like this color combination a lot. I just think it's fun. It's joyful. It's colorful. So here's what you've got, friends. And I actually want to make sure that all of my seed beads are actually in the right position. So I think as I was pulling some beads off, I pulled some seed beads off one strand. So I'm going to add a couple more here to this side to make sure that they are the same length. I think so. Maybe now it's a little bit too long. Let's see. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So now let's finish this. So I'm going to move these cubes back into their little cubby holes over here. Move the seed beads over. And this is how I finish it. Now, you might have a more creative way to do this or want to do this in a different way, but I'm going to need 2 more crimp tubes. So I've got 2 more size 2 crimp tubes to work with. Actually, that one's not looking so hot. Let me grab another one. So that I've got 2 of those, and then I've got a lobster claw clasp. And remember, we have a loop at one end. So we're going to want to attach this to our other end. And this is how I do it. So I'm going to start by very carefully removing my 2 bead stoppers. Now this gets a little scary because you want to make sure that you don't lose your seed beads. So I'm holding both ends of the 2 pieces of wire, so both of my strands, and I'm going to put the first crimp tube through the piece, and I'm going to push that down to where my seed beads end, like this. And then, to be sure that I don't have any crisscross action, I'm going to pull those 2 wires apart like that. And then I'm going to come in with my crimping pliers. I'm just trying to hold it so I can see it here. And remember, you are getting very close to those seed beads. So you do not want to crack your seed beads. So just before you start putting pressure, get in the right position and then crimp. So I've got the first step of the crimp done. Then I can come in and do the second one after repositioning. And now I've got my 2 wires secure. So now my beads are all secure onto my strands. Okay, so that's what we're looking like. And this one is very different from these other samples, like very different because we've got fewer beads, but it's still super cool and we've still got that fidget ability. Now, to get our lobster claw on, what I like to do is I like to take one of these wires off. We are secure. We've got a nice solid crimp here, so I can now take one of these off. So I'm going to come in with a cutter and I'm going to cut one of the wires. And I've still got a secure bracelet. So now the objective is to attach the lobster. And I want it to have a seed bead loop just like the loop that I'm attaching to. This is one of my samples here. So I did how many beads? I did 17 beads here. So I'm going to do 16 beads, and in between I'm going to split them in half. So I'm going to add 8 first. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come on, buddy, 6. Let me grab a couple more here, 6, 7, 8. So I've got 8 onto the wire, drop down to that crimp tube. Then I'm going to add my lobster. Just going to string that guy on. And then I'm going to pick up 8 more seed beads. Oh, you know what I forgot to do, friends? Oh my gosh. I forgot to add my second crimp tube. Let's try that again. You're going to add your second crimp tube. And this is just giving you a preview. This is why I like to add a charm, because I think this looks a little wonky through here. You've got kind of a double crimp weirdness, but we can mask that with a charm. And that's why I like to add a charm there. Plus, I like charms. So I like a little charm accent. Do you guys like charm accents? So let me add my 8 beads. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then so you've got crimp, 8 beads, lobster. Then you need 8 more to complete that little loop. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Make sure that's 8. Yep. And then you're going to let those drop down like that. And then you're going to take your wire and you're going to go through that second crimp tube. And I'm going to pull my wire. Now I've got this loop and it's holding my lobster right in the center there. And what I want to do is I want to crimp this. I'm going to hold my wire off to the side while I do this. And again, we have to be careful getting close to those seed beads. So what I like to do is kind of get my pliers in the right spot, make sure that those seed beads are sitting above the pliers, and do that first part of the crimp, first half of the crimp, and then come in and do the second half. And that's not the prettiest crimp I've ever done. Try and straighten that out a little bit. There we go. And then I've got my excess wire here and I want to come in. I'm going to pull that kind of away from the crimp and get in there as close as I can to trim that off. So that's not super pretty, right? Not super pretty, but what we can do, like I said, is do a little masking with a charm. So I put some charms in the show and I'm going to pick one that I really like. It's super cute. This is a sterling silver plain star charm. Super fun. I just love a star. Like, I think a lot of folks, stars are kind of a universal thing. I actually don't like, though, the fact that this is a big jump ring. So I want to get a little tighter into that spot where I've got those two, crimp tubes. So I'm going to take this, little, this jump ring off. I'm going to pull that off of there. And then I'm going to grab a couple of size, like 4 millimeter jump rings. So I've got these little guys. I think you probably may have heard me say this before if you watch regularly. I will use more than one if possible, and I also will use the smallest that I can use. And, you know, sometimes a larger one for design purposes is what you want, but I like to go small if I can, smaller if I can. So I'm dropping that right into that section where we've got our double crimps. Now it's not going to hang right there and mask it perfectly, but that's okay. We're creating the illusion of, you know, look at the charm, look at the charm. Don't look at the double crimp weirdness here. So I'm going to grab the charm. It's always harder to put the second one on. So I'm going to grab that section of the bracelet, grab the charm, and then if I can actually see it, I'm going to close it up there. So now we're creating that illusion of, you know, there's something going on there, but it's covered up by a pretty little charm. So I like that vibe. I like that look. And I really like this one having some more seed bead visibility. And now I can do all of my fidgeting with these beads. Super interesting colors, super fun finishes. That's another sample for us. I want to give you a few more ideas to work with. So that's how you make the piece. So once you know how to make it, you have lots of possibilities. Let me move my samples up, move that over to the side. Let's look at these. So this bead is a 15-0 and it is called Transparent Rainbow Teal. Who doesn't love a good teal? And then we've got these cubes in silver lined frosted teal. This combination is pure magic. So if you want to go for more of a monochromatic look, but still have some cool different textures and different finishes, this one is going to be super shiny and sparkly and fun. This is a great combination. So drop both of those into your shopping cart and you've got an instant bracelet. And maybe you use a like an antique brass color of wire and maybe a antique brass color clasp. And then you can grab one of these tiara cast Buddha charms. That would look super cool with this color combo. And this little Buddha guy is on the clearance section. So he would look great with teal, but there's tons of other charms that you could work with for sure. I showed you this one. So this is another combination to go with. Now the holidays are coming. I just can't believe it's September 1st. What if we did this? What if we made a holiday fidget bracelet? So we've got some 15-0s here in silver lined prairie green. So this has a silvery vibe, but it's a nice soft green. And then bam, you've got this 4mm cube in silver lined Siam ruby. And I just got to take these out of here because look at these. These cubes are so bright and vibrant, gorgeous. And when you put these, I'm going to grab a little piece of wire. I'm going to put this on wire so you can see what this looks like. This is what I like to do. I like to pop these beads out. So we got a nice soft prairie green here. And just kind of let's test out how it looks. So this one I think is one I'm going to make for the holidays because I love a fidget. And when I get to, when I cut off my wire, I sometimes need to cut it again before I start adding beads. But let's put a few beads on here. Let's see how these cubes will go over this piece. So let me put a few more on so you can see what it looks like. So this is what I like to do. Just kind of grab the colors, get the different options, the different finishes, the different charms, and just kind of match them all up, curate them, and see how they look together. So we've got our little strand of that prairie green. And then let's put a red on here and see what that looks like. Oh my goodness. That is spectacular. Is that Christmas or what? So this is another cool option, you know, another color combination option that you can work with. There are also these amazing size 3 seed beads that are super cool. This color is transparent hyacinth. And I thought this would look cool with this kind of matte, this is an opaque light beige. So this is a neutral, and this would be a good fall combination. So you don't have to go full on fall, but just grab a fun, pretty orange and a little neutral, and you've got a really cool combination there. And then I thought this was a pretty cool combo too. Look at this color. This is transparent rainbow frosted dark sapphire. So not only is this a cool color with a really interesting shimmer on it, it also is frosted. So it's a neat bead. And then you can come in with a larger bead, a 4mm cube in a frosted color. And I don't have the full color on this one. This comes in a really large tube, but this is like a light blue color. So if you take this one and pair it with this, you've got that light frosted bead going over a smaller frosted bead, but that smaller frosted bead has a lot of pizzazz to it. So super cool combination there, light and dark, interesting combo. And that's kind of more like you're staying in the color family. And then this one. This is a super cool combination too. And there's a little errant dark seed bead in this tube. Every now and again, you get a little unicorn bead in your seed beads. So this is a 4mm Ceylon jade cube. And that's super neat with this really beautiful 15-0 in Ceylon light sea green. So not, you know, completely monochromatic, but definitely more just staying in the same color family. And then I'll show you this combo. I thought this was kind of fun. So this is a purple combo. This fun bead here. Oh my gosh. I love this one. So this is an incredible purpley color. This is opaque lavender. And this is that 3-0 seed bead. And these are all amazing quality Toho beads, you guys. So, you know, it's hard to argue that you can't come up with something fun because these beads are so beautiful. So this is a copper lined light amethyst matched up to that beautiful opaque. So taking the different finishes, the transparents and the opaque pieces, matching those up together, super cool. And then I just thought I would show you some other bead options that I didn't really match up. But here's a cool cube. This is Jonquil hyacinth lined. This bead is really incredibly cool. Where's my... here's my flat nose. Look at these. These are incredible. You could take a simple yellow bead, or you could take a silver bead or a gold seed bead and put these over them. They would look amazing. Just a super interesting cube. And, you know, if you don't want to make a fidget bracelet, you could literally string on cubes onto a bracelet and add 11 O's in between, and you've got a cool, colorful bracelet. Here's a staple you should have. This is a round 3-0 metallic silver. So look at those big, chunky metallics. So if you've got any color of these seed beads. So here's the pink I used for my pink sample. And you could put the silver over this one. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. This is really a cool silver bead. And these are great beads if you just want a silver bracelet. Just string on your 3O silver beads, and you've got some fun, some fun beads and a really pretty silver. This is a aqua capri lined cube, and those are packed nice in there. Look at this beautiful blue. Who doesn't love blue? Blue is like the like favorite color across the world. Everybody loves blue. So this is a gorgeous color. Pretty blue. Let me drop those. Those would actually look nice with some of these too. I think that would be great. Then here's another cube. Let me open this guy up. Just a couple more to show you guys. So you have some ideas. These are all in the shopping bag. Look at this one. This is hybrid pink blue. So maybe put those over some silver seed beads, or pick one, pink or blue, and put these over them, or do a combo of pink and blue. Do a strand of pink, a strand of blue. We've got a double strand design that we're working with here, so lots of fun things you can do. And then this is a classic. This is your silver lined crystal. This is a gorgeous cube. Look at those. So even if you don't want to make a fidget bracelet, grab some cubes, grab some 15Os, because they're universal for all kinds of design. These could be spacers in and of themselves for larger beads. If you like working with big beads, a 4mm cube is a nice spacer. And this would also be great with a memory wire, memory wire bracelet, or a stretch bracelet, you name it. I mean, these little 4mm and these 3Os are great for all kinds of fun projects like that. So many choices, so little time. And we are just over our hour today. I'm going to flip back up. I know I missed a lot of comments. My comments froze up on me at one point. So Eric says, big fat sale going on. Now is the time to close out your carts, friends, because you don't want to miss out on the deals and getting these things home to you. Some of them may be in limited supply. Maria, I just saw a question from you. You say, I have a question. Would any other kind of 15O that are not Toho work? I think so. I have done these bracelets with other seed beads, but I would just suggest try it. Grab your larger bead and grab your small bead, do a little sample. So you don't have to cut any wire, just string it onto your wire, try it out. I would suggest that even with the Tohos, because you saw I had some trouble getting some of them on because holes aren't always 100% consistent in a vial of beads. So just give it a try out the different options, and make sure that they work before you get too far into your project. And Michelle says, yes, 15O seed beads from Mayuki would work as well. Santa Barbara girl says she loves this idea and can't wait to make it. Oh, yay. So you guys, I hope you'll give these a try. These are such fun bracelets. And if you're a fidgeter or you know one, it's a great gift for someone else. It's a great thing that you can make for yourself. What is the reason for adding the second crimp? So the first crimp is to attach the two strands. I find it difficult to put the two strands back through, although you could try that. I find that is sometimes just a little bit too much for a size 2 crimp tube. You could maybe go up to a 3 or even a 4 as an option. Try that out if you don't want the 2 crimps. I like the 2 crimps. The first one puts the 2 strands together. I trim one off and then I pull the one remaining back through the second one. Just the way I do it. You could try it a different way. You could try a larger crimp tube if you want to do that. There's lots of possibilities with this kind of thing. So I hope that you guys will give it a try. Please close out your carts. Don't forget about the up to 70% off Labor Day sale. And the deal of the week is going to end tonight. These cushion rounds, buy 4, get 1 free. That's amazing. So I appreciate you guys spending time with me today. I hope that you will check out the rest of the design team this week. They have all kinds of fun things planned for you. I will see you maybe this weekend, this coming weekend. I know we just finished, we're finishing our long weekend. I'm probably going to see you next week and a great rest of